Okay, greetings everyone. Thanks for joining us today for the another episode of Business Application. And today we are going to talk about that Canvas app. So in last session we had for the Power Platform, and you know that we are basically running that two parallel tracks side by side. So now we will be starting today for the Canvas app, and in both the tracks. So we will one track we will be doing Dynamics 365 first party apps, and in another track we will be discussing about the app that is part of the Power Platform. Okay, so just to confirm, Vector, you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so let's have a quick overview of the agenda today. So today we will start with the basic introduction about the Canvas app. So we'll see that what is Canvas app and why we need. So what are the different tasks that we can perform, and why basically we create, and what could be the requirement to go for the Canvas app. And we will discuss about the fundamentals of the Canvas app. So how we create it, so what are the factors that we keep in mind, what are the different type of controls that is available which we can utilize in the Canvas app. And once we are done with that, we will see how we can configure the settings that is specific to the Canvas app. And we will see that if you want to share your Canvas app with the other users. So let's say, for example, you are owner and you want to share it with the other users, how we can do that. And lastly, we will discuss that what are the license options available for the Canvas app. Okay, and after that we will have the demo. So let's have a quick a discussion about like ourselves. So myself, Mahender, and I have with me my friend Venkata. So we are basically both have been working with Dynamics 365 quite long now. So we both are a Microsoft MVP and C Sharp Corner MVP as well. So Venkata, you want to say hi to our audience?
Hi everyone.
Okay, so I won't spend much time on that today. So let's jump into directly and start our session, because we have a couple of slides here, and then we have lots of things that we want to cover in the demo, right? So the first thing about like when we start discussing about the Canvas app, and let's talk about the little bit history that before that. So some time back, we know that recent couple of year back, or you can say that it's like maybe 8 or 10 years back, that nobody was using mobile devices in much this much scale that what we are using right now, right? Everyone is using a smartphone, right? But at that time there was no smartphones, there was very simple phones, and only few people used to have the smartphones. And we used to have that apps that mostly business application used to have the on premise. Okay, so there was not much focus on the cloud apps, or whether it's a Microsoft or any other vendors that is available in the market. So there was no much focus on the cloud. Okay, but then the time changed and the focus shifted from on premise to the cloud and the SaaS environments. And then the mobile devices also increasing, and people started using the smartphones. And then we saw the era of the mobile apps, right? Earlier we just used to saw that our websites on the desktop, or on that monitors or the laptops. But after using the mobile devices, the smartphones, everyone started watching that website, or opening the business application or office application on the mobile. Okay, then it comes the era of the mobile apps, right? So we have different framework that we used to use for developing the mobile app, that was basically depending on that what type of mobile device you are using. So if you are using Android, so there was a Android framework. If you are using iPhone, there was a iPhone framework. So depending on your mobile device, we used to have different framework to develop the mobile app, right? But that time there was a disconnect between them. So if you are developing app for one framework, it was not easy to use the same app into the another framework, right? So you have to convert that code, you have to do some other things, or use that some technology that can combine these two frameworks, and then show that application in the iOS as well as in the Android, right? So it was difficult, right? So we got that smartphones, people started using that, but still the business application was not much used on the mobile apps. Then the came this Microsoft introduced Power Platform, and similar to that, other vendors also introduce other tools which were basically used to develop the mobile apps very quickly, or you can say that business applications. So whatever business application used earlier on the on premise, used earlier on that change shifted to the cloud environment, and now they shifted to the mobile devices, right? So in the same way, Power Platform also got introduced, and they Microsoft introduced the concept of the Power Apps. So Power Apps basically allows us to build a business application very quickly, and you don't need to be a very expert on building the mobile device, mobile apps, or you don't need to be a expert on any language or any programming language, or UI expert or something. If you are a simple citizen developer, or you simple know how to you are a IT person, or you just know how to handle your mobile, or how to run your use some web application, you can easily build your mobile app using the Canvas app, using the Power Apps. Okay, so Canvas app is basically considered a lightweight app, where we basically perform different kind of operations. So it depends. So let's take an example that you are working on a warehouse, right? And you are getting some product that is coming to your warehouse, and you have a register where you are doing that entry. Okay, we got this product today, and these are that SQ number that I'm going to put it there. So all those details, basically, let's say you are capturing on the your register, or maybe you are just using the MS Office, and you are capturing all those records into the Excel, right? But you need to open that whenever you want to do some entry, or you want to do some adjustment, you need to open that Excel file, and you need to be there, and then you can do those changes, right? But that basically sometimes there could be a data inconsistency between this, like what products you are getting, how many products you have in the inventory, and you want to see that what is the stock right now, right? That can't be so much quick in term of that Excel files, if you are using Excel file, right? But then here comes the Canvas app. In the Canvas app, we are still going to use the Excel file, but for the data operations, like adding some new records or looking into that what is the status, we don't need to open that Excel. We can create a app, we can create in the different screen. So for example, I want to check the what is the inventory status, so I can have one screen that is basically for checking the inventory status, one screen for doing that entry if I want to do new entry to my Excel file, and one could be, let's say, I want to modify some entry, right? So you can quickly create a mobile app using the Canvas app, and whenever you are let's say you are at home, or you are outside the office, you don't need to go to the office, right? If you have access to the internet, you can go that, and you can access your data, you can access your Excel file, which is hosted on that somewhere on the OneDrive, let's say. Okay, and you can do all that updates, and you can quickly get the data, right? So that's how that's just one example, but it depends like what is your functionality, what you do depending on your day-to-day activities. You can build your application for yourself, right? There are hundreds of applications are built in the Canvas app. You can say that almost every day, I don't know like how many apps are created on the Canvas app, right? So it's very easy. That's why, like whenever you have some requirement, and you can see that okay, this fit to my Canvas app, and I can easily build it using the Canvas app. Okay, so and it's very responsive, so you can use on the multiple devices. It's not that you are building a Canvas app that you can only use it on the mobile. No, you can also use in the tablet, you can also browse it from the browser, from your laptop, from your desktop. So it's basically responsive, right? So it rendered based on the screen size, whatever screen size, whatever device you are using, it will change that its layout according to that. Okay. So, and if you want to start with the Canvas app, you have the templates. There are existing templates are there. You can utilize those, or if you want to create, from the blank, you can start it. So you will get a blank canvas, and you can design it according to your requirement, right? Whatever your requirement is, you want to see the data, or you want to do the form entry. All these things can be done here very easily, right? Now, so designing is done, but of course, like when you are working on some app, you might have some kind of the logic, right? You want to do some kind of data validation. That can be also done. So you can write very simple formula, just like Excel. You have that Excel, formula, right? We can do that different type of functions. Those can be also done in the Canvas app. So you can write your FX expression there, and you can easily implement your logic depending on your requirement, right? So now we have a overview of the Canvas app. So let's start with the fundamentals, like what are things that we require, and what are things that we need to understand when we are working with the Canvas app. So first thing is that when we want to create a Canvas app, the first thing that we need to take decision on that, what will be your main focus here. So we have basically two type of format that is available here, that we can see here that we have two type of options that is available. The first one is the tablet and the phone. Okay, although it's basically responsive, so even if you are building your Canvas app, setting that format here tablet, you can also use it on the phone. And similarly, if you are building for the phone, you can also use it on the tablet. But by default, it take the layout, right? That whatever format you select, by default, it use that layout for the app. So we take the decision here, and we provide that what are the name that we want to use for our app. Then once you can select that, and you can click on the create. So to reach out this, you can go to the make powerapps.com, and there you can start select your environment. If you have a multiple environments, you can select it, or you have just one environment, then you can start building your app from there. So there is a new option is there. When you will click on that, you will see three options basically. So we can create three type of apps: one Canvas app, and then the model driven app, and the portal apps. Okay, so today we are discussing the Canvas app. Okay, so once we decided, okay, we want which type of format we want to select, as soon as you will click on the create, you will be landed on this, Power App Studio. So this is basically, you will get a blank screen here depending on that. So for example, I'm taking the blank one. So I'm starting the tab from the blank. Then I will get a blank screen here. But if you will select some template, and then you will create, so you will get all that template content already here. You will get the screens and controls already placed here, which you can just modify based on your requirement, right? So here we can see that this is a blank canvas, and in the left hand side we have a tree structure here. So we have create different type of controls here if you want to connect with the data source. So those all the things can be done here. If you want to apply some kind of logic using the Power Automate, you can select it here. And on the right hand side, that comes with the property window. So whatever control you are using here, whatever control you will select it here, in the right hand side it will provide you the property option, which we can change that look and feel of the control. So for example, right now we have a screen one, so you can see that we have a screen one property that is visible here. Okay, so this is what we have the Power App Studio, so that where we can design our Canvas app. So when you will be landed on the Canvas App Studio, you need to create the different screens. Okay, so screens you can take like example of a page, right? So for example, if you are building any app, so in the app we see different pages, right? Or let's say if you are browsing any website, you see different pages. Similarly, in our app as well, we can create different type of screens. So here you can see that we have different templates options are there. So if you want to select blank, you can take that, or you have that option, scrollable, or that list one on the forms. So these are different templates are available here. So list is basically where you will get that grid type of control, what we call gallery here in the Canvas app, and there you can set your data source, and then you will see the multiple records that you can work with them. Okay, and if you want to create any kind of form where you can submit the data or modify the data, then you can go for the form options, right? So these are the different options that is available. So you can select your screen, and then you can start designing your app. Now, so whenever we are creating our app, most of the time we are working basically with the data, right? We're working with some kind of data that we want to render on the our app screen. Okay, we want to get some data, or we want to store some data. So it could be any database, it could be an Excel file, it could be a any third party database, or it could be a dataverse that is basically in the Power Platform. So that depends on that where your data is stored. Okay, depending on that, you can see here that these are the dataverse tables that is there. So if you want to utilize these tables, you can select them, or if you want to create on the fly, you can also create a new table, and you can decide that what will be the structure of this table, and then you can utilize that table into your Canvas app. Okay, and then we see here we have different other options as well that we can use as a data source. So all the data source that is available, we connect them using the connector. So connectors are basically which work in between our app and the data source, and it make it possible to back and forth sending the data and communicating with the data source. So that thing is available on the data source. So this is very important when you are working with the Canvas app. So you need to decide like which data source you are using, and depending on the data source, we also have a it will impact your licensing cost as well. So we will discuss that on the licensing slide. But here, so once we selected the data source now, so we got that screen, and then we selected okay, this is the data source that we want to work now. So we are connected with the data source. Now, how we want to render our data? So we can see here, we have a different type of controls that is available, which we can utilize to create the forms, to create the gallery, to create that, different input controls are there, different buttons controls are there that we want to do some kind of trigger, some kind of actions. So those type of control that we can see that is available for us. All these controls you can utilize into your Canvas app, and you can design as I said that we have the gallery option, which basically we have a horizontal or vertical gallery, and you can work with the multiple records there. Okay, so those multiple records basically help you to work with the if you are working with the multiple data, and you want to go for the next screens and select or edit that. So those type of thing we can use with the gallery controls, right? And then we have the forms. In the forms, we have different type of forms, like the edit form is there where you want to edit some existing record. New form is there where you want to insert some data into the database. Okay, view form is there, which is just a read only. Okay, you don't want to do any kind of modification, you just want to view the data. Okay, and we have different media controls are also there that can be placed, and you can utilize them to build your app. Okay, so we will see them on the demo, how we can use and configure them. Now we have the data, we have the controls. What about the logic? As I said that we can use that Excel like formula here to implement our logics, right? So you can see we have different categories of the functions that is available. So we have the filters. So if you are bringing some data and you want to apply some kind of filters, okay, so for example, I just want to see the data. Let some customer is coming, I'm getting some customer record from my database, and I just want to see that the customer who are basically from particular city, okay, or who are basically from particular country, Okay, those kind of thing that you can apply using the filters. And you can do that comparison using the different functions that is we have here. And you can see that this is basically that place where we apply our power effects. And you can see that we have that expression that is applied where we are using that office 365 users, and we are searching based on that some text which is there. And based on the text we are searching that, okay, what is the author, and all these details are there. Okay, so these type of things that we can use on the canvas app and apply logics or data validation depending on the requirement. And also use that different math functions are there, very common, just like what we have in the Excel. Okay, so we now our app is ready. Let's say you have done the designing using the control, you connect it to your data source, you applied the logic. So now we have some settings that you want to do for your app. So if you there is a setting options when you are working on that Power App Studio. There we have the different options that we can use to configure. So for example, here that you can configure that app icon, so how it will, when it will be placed on that store, or it's available onto your environment. So what icon you want to show it there. And okay, so you want to change the name of your app, you can do that. You can provide the descriptions, you can configure the colors and icons of all these things here. Then we have some display options are there. By default, how much layout will be there, what will be the width and size, that things will be there. Okay, so we have the upcoming features. So there are many features basically which are in stage of preview, right? They are not released yet, but they are in preview. So Microsoft allow the users to just try them. Okay, so in this option we can enable those features, and we, if you want to apply this new incoming feature to our canvas app, you can make them on or off. Okay, and then last one is the support. In under the support we have the different training options are there. You get the direct URL of the page where all the KBs will be there, that if you want to take some help about the canvas app, like how to use formula, how to change the screen, how to use the any control, gallery control, and all those. So all that links are available under the support page. Okay, so these are the options that is available where we can configure the setting for our app. So now, so we are now again on the another step. So we have done, designed our app, and we have done some settings as well. Now it comes that sharing. Okay, so you created that app. Right now you will be only able to see that app, right? But you want to share that app to the other users as well, right? So sharing allow us to share our app with the others users. So here you can select the name, you can enter the name of the user. Then once you will enter that, and it will show you the list of the user that is part of your organization. And then you have two different options. So you can select as a simple user, that who will be using that, and they won't be able to do any kind of modification to that app. But if you want to make any person, any user co-owner, then they can do the modification in this app. So you can select this and you can allow them that, okay, I want to allow this user to make any modification to the canvas app. Then you can select as a co-owner. Okay, so these are the two options that is available for us. So as soon as you will share this app, then this app will be visible to the other users. So when they will go to that makepower.com, and they under the apps they will be able to see all that apps for their organization which is shared with them. Okay, so this is what we have for the sharing. Now the last topic that I want to cover is the license part. Okay, so in a broad way we have two categories here. The first one is the subscription plan, where you decide that monthly subscriptions. Okay, based on the monthly subscriptions, you have different plan that you can select, and then you pay for the monthly on that fee. Okay, whatever fee is there, depending on the plan, you pay it monthly. But another, the first one that we have is the Power App plan. So this is the simplest one that we have. We can start with. So here you can take that $5 plan. So this is basically for per user per app, per month. So if you are using that one app, and per month you need to pay the $500 for this app. Okay. Another one is the per user plan. So let's say, for example, you want to work on the multiple apps. Okay, so you are developing multiple apps, or you are a user and you are on a different work on the different department, and you have different apps made for the different department, and you want to use all these apps. Okay, then you need to go for the per user plan, where you need to pay the $20, and you can use unlimited apps. Per user can use the unlimited apps, so there is no foundation on that. Okay, so these are the two category that comes into the subscription plan. Now the third one is the pay as you go. Okay, so pay as you go plan is basically connected to your Azure subscription. Okay, so however you are using that app, so this is basically the $10 per user per app per month plan. So as you go with that, depending on that how many unique apps that you are using, so which unique app you are using, so in the Azure your calculation is done, and then they do that billing from the Azure subscription. Okay, so these are the options that is available for us, for the license on the Canvas app. Okay, so that's what I wanted to cover today. So we discuss about that fundamentals of the Canvas app, and how we can design that, what are the controls that is available. Now let's see the demo, and we will discuss how we can create it in the demo. So I'm going to pass mic to my friend Venkata. So I'm going to stop now. You can share your screen.
Right. So hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, you can say it.
Okay. So hi everyone. This is Venkat again. So today now, as of now, you've seen all the content that is present, the concepts in the PPT slide. Now I'm going to give a walkthrough of how it is present. Okay. So as usual, normally make.powerapps.com should be used for this one. Okay, and then you have to go to this particular home, and once you go it right, it obviously comes to here. And we do have the multiple ways of creating any particular app, that is the Canvas app. One is through the data sources, that is through Dataverse, SharePoint, Excel, SQL, and Image and Figma. Okay, and there is, these are all directly that where you will be selecting first the data source. So based upon the data source, an app will be built on it. So if you are a techie person, if you might have worked on entity framework earlier, right, we do have the database first approach, DB first merge approach, and model first approach, like that, right? In the same way, so we do have to create any Canvas app, right? There are multiple ways of doing it. First we can select that particular data source. Based upon the data source, we will be building it. The second one is just by directly uh, building an app from the scratch and then add it to this particular data. So first let me go through it by selecting the as in Dataverse as in particular uh, data source. So if you observe in the past previous slides, the data source has been selected as an Dataverse. Okay, so in the okay, once it gets loaded, right, we do have the number of data sources that are present. So I do have an existing Dataverse connection that is present, so it will take some more time here. So as of now, as if you observe, right, for this particular tenant, already I do have the different tables that are present. So as of now, what I am doing, just I am connecting to this particular accounts Dataverse table. So what was happening at the background, right? So Power Apps, or the studio, or the make.powerapps.com is making me behind. Like it is building the different forms of the, like, for viewing the data and for inserting the data and for the deleting the data. That is to perform all the CRUD operations, kind of an app that is going to, that it is going to be shown to all the particular users. So till now I have not done anything. Just I have selected the dataverse as an, a data source, and then just I have established the connection. And now Power Apps at the back end, the studio was making me to do this. So if you observe, my app was ready. If you observe, um, this is if you observe, this is a list of accounts that are present. If I wanted to insert any account, example, this is Hyderabad, so account name is uh, FRDO, and my phone number just I can give. So what was happening at the background, uh, account has been created, and if you observe right, the account has been created and I can see this particular data. So what is the thing that I have done? This is a list of all the accounts, and then I have created an account, that is the creation of an account. And this is what the display. If you observe in the background, in the few slides back in the PPT, there are different forms that are present, like the read-only forms and also the editable forms and all. If you observe, this is a kind of a readable form, and this is an editable form. So I can edit this one, and if you observe, editing has also been completed. And if I go back and see here, all the details has been updated. Okay, so also I can also sort this particular list of accounts that are already present. So if you observe right, any app, if it has only the data, not that much design that is present, simply out of box way in make.powerapps.com, it will provide us this kind of functionality. So now if I wanted to delete this one, right, obviously I can delete this one. So at the background, this deletion of this particular account was happening. So it will take some time. So if you observe, that particular account was not at all present here. So if you observe here, what kind of forms that has been shown right here. So let me zoom it here. So if you observe, this is my particular app. I do have the edit screen that is present, and the detail screen, which is nothing but a read-only screen, and the browse gallery browse screen. This is nothing but an gallery control that is being used here, where to show all these particular details. If you observe in the PPT, you might have observed the number of ways that we can show this particular data, right? So here it has been used. We are using uh, this particular gallery. So this was a separator that has been used here, and this is the gallery, and these are all the different controls that are present. This is a text box control, this is a search icon, and the rectangle, all these details that are present. So before going to that, right, so let me go back to here. So now, with the help of this particular dataverse, we have created an app. Now let us go with the another data source. Obviously, right, number of people who are using currently, right, they might be doing Excel as an backend, right? So there are multiple questions that you encounter. Okay, we are using Excel. Can we use the Canvas apps or this low code, no code methodologies, or can we use the Canvas apps and all? Yes, you can use it. So obviously now what I am going to do, just I have selected Excel as an data source. So now what I am doing here, just I am going to select again. So selected the data source, and then I will be going to select a connection. So I do have this particular connection. So if you don't have any new connection, existing connection, then you can establish the connection. But for the time being, I do have a connection that is present. And if you observe right, this is my Gmail spreadsheet. Okay, and in this I do have this particular demo expenses sheet that is already present here. So let me delete all this particular data, Okay, so now what I'm going to do, right, just I'm going to select this particular sheet. So what was happening, so an empty app has been taken. So just it will take some time. Okay, so an app has been created. For that particular creation, right, we need a data source, and we have selected a data source that is nothing but the uh, Google Sheets. So let me refresh this one. And then a connection needs to be built. So okay, let me select the connection one more time. So let me refresh this spreadsheet as well. So if you don't have any connection, right, then you have to establish this particular connection. And then just I have selected this particular sheet. If you observe, this is my sheet. In this particular sheet, this 2023 is my sheet name. Okay, this is a spreadsheet, total spreadsheet. In this, the tab name is 2023. So I'm going to the app, and then just I have selected this 2023 as a sheet. So what was happening? So based upon all the columns that are present here, right? So an app will be built at the background with all these particular details. So I have not written in any single line of code, but based upon the data source, that is Excel sheet, and the number of columns that are present there, my app was building on its own because of the super intelligence that is present at the background. That is the out of box features that has been provided by the Microsoft uh, through this particular make.powerapps.com or the maker portal, you can say. Okay, so these generally there are some acronyms that has been used, like make.powerapps.com, few people will say, and few people will tell about like Maker Studio and all. So if you observe, this is my particular sheet. Let me bring that. So what I'm going to do, right, just I'm going to update the, I'm going to insert some data. Is test data. Feb I have some expenses. July I do have some expenses. And these are some monthly expenses of, just you can say the monthly expenses. And then just I see I have given as an s number as an number. Generally it will be, it can be auto number. So see, if you observe, I don't have any details here. So let me zoom it out. So I don't have any details. Once I go to the app and then click on these details, so I, the data has been selected. Don't trust me. So go to this particular sheet. Boom. I do have the details that are present. I do have this monthly expenses 200, 100, and 500, 300, and the test data. And also, if you observe, right, any app that you create, it will have this app ID. So an LAB, if you ask an LAB, okay, Venkat, there could be some magic that is present. Can you prove it? This has been carried out through the app. Yes. If you observe, this was the app ID that is present. And if you observe this particular one that is present. So actually this is an app. So let me close this particular one, and I will show this particular app settings. If you wanted to change this particular app, I can say uh, demo app. So there are upcoming features that are present. So you can try it out all these particular preview features, but don't in the production, right, that is in the live environments or in the production environments, don't go with the prior preview features. And there's a few of them are experimental. These are still you can experiment them, but they are not for the general availability. And also few of the things that are retired. So my app was ready with this particular data source as an spreadsheet. Now how you can so you can save this one. So if you observe, right, you carefully, light and spinning wheel that is been spinning, which is nothing but internally at the background it is being saved. Okay, so if I wanted to publish this app, right, just you can do it. This is the way you can publish this particular version. So if you observe again, the details has been published, and if you observe here the app version history, just know this is been live. Okay, so let me go back to here to the screen and go back to here, go back to this particular apps, and then if you observe, right, this was the demo app which just we have created it. Okay, so how you can directly do it is by using, just you can click on this, and if you observe, right, this was an canvas app that was built on the data source that is the spreadsheet. If you observe, this was the details. If I wanted to change the expenses as like this, you can edit this one. If I edit this, obviously if you observe, this 250 has been directly been reflected. Okay, so this is how you can do it. And also, right, if you wanted to edit this one, you can click on this edit. If you click on this particular edit, right, you can do it. And if you wanted to know the details of this particular app, then you can easily get that. So as I said you before, the power apps id is 88. It starts with 88, right? So which is nothing but here this particular power apps id that will be present. If you wanted to share this particular app, right, to any of your friends, what you can do, right, just you can copy this one, and in a separate tab you can open it. So if you observe, the demo app was ready. So if you wanted to share the app url, then you can simply go back to here and then just copy it. And if you observe what are the connections that are present, just it is an excel spreadsheet that is present of the Gmail. And also if you observe, right, just now we have published this one at 10:38 for 10:38 and 7 p.m. IST. Okay, so let me zoom down a bit. And if you observe, right, if you wanted to export from one environment to another environment, then we are going to use this, but I'm not going to cover on those details. And if you wanted to see what are all the app settings that are present, if you wanted to change it, then we can do it. Okay, so now let us go back to the home screen one more time, and then let us take another one, which is so image preview. So here, right, uh, by using this particular image, right, you can simply uh, upload any particular image. If you observe in this particular preview one, it was saying simply if any of your customer says that just he draws this particular UI lookup and he expect this kind of functionality on a piece of paper, right? Simply we can take that particular picture and then we can upload it. So you can ask me a question. So Venkat, okay, fine. Can you prove it to us? Yes, why not? So let me choose one particular file. So just this was an image that I have taken. Just formats as been mentioned in the earlier. We do have couple of formats, that is the layouts we can call the tablet and the phone. As I am using mostly here the web version of it, right? So that's why it was showing as a tablet, and now tablet has been present, and then I'm going to just click on this next. So if you observe, right, I do have an image. That particular image has this one. So what is that? It is a college registration form. It has the name. It has an text. Okay, automatically my image was looks like this. So so this was the image that I have uploaded. It is college registration form. Name, it has text box. Age, it has a text box, and the place has a text box and a submit button. Okay. So if you observe automatically, what was happened, that image has been scanned here. And if I observe, this is a text box. I have an liberty to add it as a text box like that. And then if you observe the place, this is also a text box. If you want it, you can keep it as other variables as well. And if you observe, this is an one where I can keep it as a button. Okay. So now what was happening, so just I'm going to click on next. See, I can connect to a Dataverse table. Okay, so I can create a new, or I can do. So what I'm going to, just I'm going to create a new one. So I'm going to create an new one. So just I can create an new table. So just I can click on next. So what I'm saying, right, just okay, let me do all these things. So automatically it has created, it has selected a couple of the all the three columns, that is name, age, and place. These are all the text fields that are present. So just I'm giving it as is, name, text, all these things. If you observe, a table has been created with all these things. The image one, just I have given as in the data was table. So what was happening at the background, based upon that data that is present on that particular image, and custom table has been created at the background. See, I have not created that particular table just by defining, okay, this was my column, this was my column, this was my column, and all. So I have simply bypassed all these things just by following and step by step process. So it will take a few seconds for us to create an app. So what was happening actually, the image whatever that is present, based upon the image, the contents components has been selected. So based upon these particular components, as I have selected, to create a table of the custom type. So in the dataverse, automatically a table gets created with these particular columns. Once this particular table gets created, on the top of this particular table as a data source, that is a dataverse table, an app will get built. Okay. So it will take in a few seconds that the creating your app that is going on. So till now I have not written any single line of code. Obviously, if any customer ask you like, okay, can you build an app in few days like that, simply you can challenge that particular customer, or you make the customer to surprise, or you can make the customer to understand the importance of the low code, no code, and this power apps, right, by simply doing this particular kind of a demo with him. Okay, and this is, you can say, this is a production ready kind of app, because it is scalable and it can be easily used for the next development if you have it. Okay. So as it is taking some time here, so as we are going out of this particular time, right? Okay, so yes, I'm getting this particular app that is making ready. So I would like you to observe this particular app, how it gets built. Okay, so if you observe, my form is been ready, obviously, and name is text that is present. And this is how an app will be present. If you observe, this is the form, and it has these forms, and also these are all the text labels that are present. Okay. So like this, right, there are a few other things that are all also present. which we are going to cover in the coming sessions. Okay, and there is a beautiful documentation that is present here. So just I will give you here a few more things like all apps that are present. If you wanted to see all the apps that you can do it, and there are few more templates that are also present that we are going to explore in the coming sessions. So hope you have enjoyed this particular demo. So Mahinder, so
Um,
would you like to add something?
Yeah, I just want to add one thing. Can you just click on the new and just go to the selection where we have the data source selection here. I just want to include that one point here. Yeah. So uh,
Right,
maybe select that yeah from this we want to select the data, so I want to see the data source window, yeah, just want to explain, like, basically if you are using that office 365 and you have that office 365 license, then you can use the okay, yeah, just on this page. So here, as we can see, that some of the connector that we see in the right hand side, we have a diamond, right? So this basically denote that this is a premium connectors. So whenever you are working with the any premium connector, then you need the license that we discussed, like per app plan or per user plan. Okay, but if you have a simple, just like for example, if you are using that Excel file or that non premium connector, then you can use the simply your Office 365 license and you can build your Canvas app, right? So yeah, that's just what I wanted to cover. And I think yeah, you have like explained it very well, that we have different ways to develop that app, and we have not written any single line of code, and this is a true low code no code feature here, that how intelligently we can build different apps just in a couple of seconds, and just use wizards where we can just select that option and configure it, and then we are ready, right?
right.
So yeah, I think this is what we wanted to cover today. So once again, thanks everyone for joining us today, and we will continue on the different track now. And I think next month we will have some gap. There is some other schedules. There are another event happening on the C Sharp Corner community, so there won't be any live event recorded, but we will have our sessions on the maybe second last or last week. So that will be published on the C Sharp Corner, so you can get information from there. Yeah. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks very much.
Thanks
Bye.
everyone. Bye.